Hello and welcome back to the Power of BI channel. And then in this video, we will be going through transactions in TSQL. This is part of an advanced level TSQL programming. And if you're following along, you can go to my previous videos for basic SQL as well as intermediate SQL. But in this video, we'll be learning how to construct transactions to control the behavior of the multiple transaction or multiple TSQL statement. And we can also handle multiple transactions, and we can also mention that when to roll back some statements. So describing transactions, comparing transactions and batches, and also managing the transactions, error handling, and also we'll be touching a bit of a concurrency as well, like simultaneous transactions happening. So transactions in TSQL are treated as a unit. If single transaction fails, then all the statement fails. If transaction is successful, you will know that all the data modification statements in the transaction were successful and committed to the database. So, for example, if you're um, running a stored procedure connected to the front end system, and then we're saying that this is hitting the order table and the payment table as well. But if sales order table is being implemented and somehow the internet fails or something like this happens and it's not hitting the payment table, then we will have some discrepancy in the data as well. So with transactions, what we will do is we'll just use transactions, and then if all the statements or the insertion any of one fails, then we'll roll back the transactions. So as per the theoretical statement, all the transaction statements in OLTP um, meets a requirement called asset. And asset transactions characteristics, the first one is atomicity, then consistency, isolation, durability. So these are the four key characteristics. Like each transaction, atomicity is each transaction is treated as a single unit like atom. Consistency is that uh, the transactions can only take data from the database from one valid state to another. Isolation means the transaction of transferring funds from one account to another is in progress. Another transaction that checks the balance of these accounts must return consistent result. And the durability is that when the transaction is being committed, it remain committed. After the account transfer transaction is completed, the revised account balance are shown in the system. So to begin our statements, these are some of the copied query related to insert statements. And if we execute this in this insert statement, there are two transactions. There are two queries that are executed, but the third one is showing conversion failed when converting date time. And if we do a select statement here, so let's run first this query. This is showing as the new customer to be added in that, and we've just added it here. If we look for address, then this is also being added, and we'll just use order by here by address ID. So we'll be saying that we have provided a new address here, 6388, and this is showing me the address ID as well. But the customer address table thrown an error. This means that we need to do an insertion by using some simple methodology using transaction. So we'll copy this query, then paste it here. And in between, what we'll do is we'll use begin transaction and then commit transactions. So just do this. I'll just execute this and it'll say show me the conversion failed while this thing happened. If I run customer ID again, I will not I will only have the old one, remember? And in the address ID, I will also have the old one showing. However, this commit transaction never took place, and then we can, you know, say that we this transaction has never been taken into the whole insertion. So now what we'll do is we'll just, there is an error here, so I've removed this. I put the date here. I'll put it in the try and catch mechanism. So sorry begin try, and then end try, and then begin catch, and then end catch. We'll put this, sorry, we'll put this commit transaction here, and then print transaction committed. And then in the catch, we'll use a rollback transaction, and then we'll use a print sign saying transaction failed. And then we'll use end catch, remove this commit transaction, and then I modified this deliberately just to make sure that what we are receiving here, it's rolling back the transaction, it's showing transaction failed. But if I correct this, it's 2012, and then execute this, so it's showing transaction committed. And if I go back here, there will be say two records associated with this, two records associated with the other one as well. So this means that this transaction has been committed to see the effect of the uh, transactions. So now in this one, we've gone through the begin transaction, committing transaction, rolling back transaction as well. There's a there's a these are important ones to handle the transactions and handle multiple what do you call it, multiple batches of the execution as well to be run, and then we can also roll back transactions based on um, any failure in between. So this is it for from this part of the video, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.